The next step moving towards ultimately working into a palette knife painting where you have very distinct shapes that you'll be painting in, but before you go there you have to work with color. And again, we're keeping this whole process based on collage. So the collage is our basis, and the collage can also be the basis for our color mixing. So when I take a look at these colors, obviously it's predominantly greens and yellows, some purples, a little bit of blue. So the reason I have the collage right here, and if you can also put like a piece of acetate or a piece of clear plastic or even glass on top of the collage, and then you can start creating your palette. And I have a limited palette of white, a cad yellow medium, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, and an umber. So within these colors, I know I won't be able to hit the colors here just perfectly, but it'll be close enough for what I want to do. So I want to take you through this color comparison a little bit. So I'm going to begin by bringing some yellow down to my mixing area, and every time I do that with my palette knife, I'm going to wipe off the knife before I move into my next color. I'm going to bring a little bit of blue in, and just to start to mix my greens, I'm just going to see what sort of greens this might give me. And currently I'm allowing my eye to bounce back and forth between this green, and I'm bringing it over to my collage and noticing that it really pairs pretty well with the green, the middle green in the back here. When I hold it right over that green, I'm noticing that there's a slight discrepancy between the greens. So what I can do is I can wipe off my knife, and I feel like it needs to be, just have a little bit of white in it to make it a slightly lighter value, and also to kill the color a little bit. So I'm bringing a little bit of white in, and then I'm going to load up the back of the palette knife, and I'm going to bring it down and compare it again. That's pretty good. I might need to bring a little bit more blue in. Again, I've just wiped my knife. So you can teeter the colors back and forth as you start to mix the colors you're ultimately going to need to do the painting. Now I feel like this is actually looking pretty good. So I'm going to bring this over. Yeah, that's it. The thing too is, if you're used to painting with a brush, you should mix more colors than you're used to, because you're going to be using more color. All right, so now I have a green for that middle area. I'm just going to be putting this up to the side here, reserve it. And now I'm going to try to mix this purple, which is a deep purple, and maybe the purple of the light on the edge of the tree. So I'm gonna clear off my green mixing area. I'm gonna bring some of my alizarin crimson down to my mixing area, and then I'm gonna bring some of my ultramarine. I'm gonna mix them together. And sometimes it's hard to tell with purple because it's such a dark value, really the color you're getting. But I'm gonna hold it up against here. When my eye bounces back and forth between the purple in the collage and this feels a little too dark. So once again, I'm gonna come in, just put like the tiniest bit of white in here. And I'm mixing with the back of the knife. I'm dragging the back of the knife across the palette. And I'm thoroughly mixing all the color through. There's no striations of color. Now I take that, I bring it there, still feels a little bit dark. I'm gonna bring a little bit more white in. So this is the process, mixing out your colors to pair with the collage, getting a good number of them mixed out. That's feeling better. Actually, it feels like it needs a little bit more warmth. Bring a little bit more red in. And then, so now I feel like pretty good about the color I have for the tree trunk. I'm gonna put it here, and then there's a little bit of light falling on it. So I'm actually gonna wipe off my knife, and I'm gonna bring in a little white, lightening the purple. And I'm gonna bring it over and compare it to that. It's really off. Like, I feel like that's much more neutral, what's happening in the collage. So I can neutralize and possibly lighten this purple by bringing in its complement. So I'm going to bring in just a whisper of yellow. And you can see how it neutralizes, it makes it less purple, it brings it a little bit more towards like an ochre color. I'm going to bring in a little bit more white. I'm going to compare it again. Still too purple. So once again, just a touch more yellow. I want to neutralize it. So it's really a balancing act. This is looking better. Still a little dark, so I can add a little more white. Until you achieve the colors that you really feel are in front of you. That's much better. So I'm just going to keep mixing colors until I have all my colors mixed out for this collage from this limited palette, and then it will be time to start putting them down on the surface of the painting.